The ocean looks peaceful from the shore. Then you step onto the boat. The floor moves under your feet, and suddenly, English feels the same way. Today is not a list of sea words. It is one rough day at sea, and every phrase arrives exactly when someone needs it. Sea English is everywhere because the ocean gives us pressure, distance, risk, and change in one image. That is why these phrases show up at work, in relationships, in money conversations, and in personal growth. The sea becomes a map for feelings we already know. So in this episode, the story comes first, and the English follows. At 6 in the morning, Leah stood at the harbor with a notebook, a coffee, and too much confidence. She was joining a small research boat as the English translator. The job sounded simple: help the crew talk to a visiting scientist. But the boat was already moving before she understood the first instruction. The first phrase is test the waters. It does not mean jump into the sea. It means try something carefully before you fully commit. You send one message, ask one question, or make one small move just to see how the situation reacts. This is useful because it gives you permission to start small. Before you accept a job, test the waters with one honest conversation. Before you launch an idea, test the waters with a small audience. The phrase sounds careful, but it also sounds brave because you are still moving. Leah did not pretend she understood the boat. She tested the waters. She asked the captain, "Can you show me the route first?" That one question gave her time to listen, watch, and learn the rhythm of the crew. In English, this phrase makes caution sound smart, not weak. Once the boat left the harbor, the city disappeared behind a line of gray water. The captain pointed to ropes, screens, and instruments. The visiting scientist spoke fast. Leah knew the words, but they did not land in order. She was not stupid, she had just lost her bearings. The noun bearing is about direction. On a map, it helps you know where you are facing. In life, your bearings are your sense of position. When a meeting starts too fast, when a new job has too many rules, or when English suddenly sounds like noise, you need a minute to find your bearings. Get your bearings means figure out where you are and what is happening around you. Sailors use bearings for direction. English speakers use the phrase for meetings, new jobs, new cities, and conversations that move faster than your brain. Try this sentence: I am still getting my bearings. It is much better than saying, I have no idea what is going on. The meaning is honest, but the tone is calm. You are not lost forever. You are locating yourself. This is where practical English begins. The best phrase is not always the most dramatic phrase. Sometimes, it is the one that protects your dignity while you think. Leah repeated it quietly, got her bearings, and noticed something important. Everyone on the boat was still learning the sea, too. All at sea means completely confused. It is more colorful than confused, and a little more honest. Leah could have said, I am all at sea with these instrument names. That would not make her sound lazy. It would make the problem specific, vivid, and easy for someone else to help with. By mid-morning, the water became strangely smooth. It looked easier, almost friendly. Leah relaxed for half a second. The captain did not. He watched the surface, then checked the screen again. Calm water can be honest, but it can also hide movement underneath. Below the surface means underneath what people can easily see. A team may look calm below the surface, but everyone is worried. A friendship may seem fine below the surface, but one person feels hurt. The phrase tells listeners to look deeper. This sentence is useful when you sense something, but you do not want to attack anyone. There is more below the surface. It can open a serious conversation gently. In English, softness is often not weakness. Sometimes, softness is how you get close enough to the truth. Leah started to understand the conversation. The crew was not only talking about weather, they were reading wind, current, silence, and each other's faces. In work English, below the surface is powerful because it lets you discuss tension without sounding aggressive. You are not accusing anyone. You are noticing a hidden layer. The word for that hidden layer is undercurrent. In the ocean, an undercurrent moves below the surface. In conversation, it is a hidden feeling. There was an undercurrent of worry in the room. That sentence means people smiled, but the worry was moving underneath everything. When the camera went underwater, Leah finally saw why the scientist had come. The surface was only the cover. Below it, the reef moved with quiet complexity. Tiny fish turned together like one thought. The ocean was not empty space, it was a language, and Leah had been reading only the title. Deep dive is one of the most useful modern phrases. It means a serious, detailed look at a topic. In business, people say, let us do a deep dive into the numbers. In learning, you can do a deep dive into one phrase until it becomes usable. Be careful with this one. Native speakers use deep dive when the topic deserves attention. A 2-minute question is not a deep dive. A full report, a difficult decision, or a serious lesson can be. Leah looked at the reef and understood the difference. Some things only make sense when you go deeper. A sea change is a major transformation, not a tiny update, not a small improvement. A real sea change changes the whole feeling of a situation. Leah felt one happening inside herself. In the morning, English had been a test. By afternoon, English was becoming a tool. After lunch, the sky changed. The boat felt smaller. The horizon stopped looking beautiful and started looking far away. Leah had translated enough to be useful, but not enough to feel safe. Then the radio cracked, the scientist frowned, and the captain said they might need to change course. Out of your depth means you are in a situation that is too difficult for your current ability. The image is simple. Your feet cannot touch the bottom. You can still move, but every second takes effort. Here is the mature version. I am out of my depth, but I can still ask for help. That sentence is not weakness. It is self-awareness. Leah said something like it to the scientist, and instead of judging her, he slowed down. Many learners panic because they think confidence means never admitting confusion. Real confidence is different. It says, I know where I am strong, and I know where I need help. On that boat, Leah discovered that asking one clear question can keep you afloat longer than pretending. Keep your head above water means manage to survive when life is difficult. You are not thriving yet. You are not relaxed. But you are still breathing, still paying attention, still doing enough to continue. Students use it during exam season. Parents use it during busy months. Workers use it when every deadline arrives at once. The storm did not arrive like a movie. It arrived in pieces. Darker water, sharper wind, shorter sentences. The captain stopped explaining. The scientist stopped joking. The crew moved with the kind of focus that makes every word heavier. Leah was no longer learning English about the sea. She was using English inside it. In deep water means in serious trouble. It is stronger than busy and stronger than stressed. If a company is in deep water, something has gone wrong. If a person is in deep water, they need a solution, not just encouragement. The captain did not shout. That made it scarier. He simply said, we may be in deep water if the wind keeps turning. Leah heard the idiom and felt the meaning immediately. Some phrases do not need a dictionary when the world around you is explaining them. Sink or swim means you must succeed by trying, because nobody can protect you from the situation now. It is a tough phrase. Do not use it when someone needs comfort. Use it when the pressure is real and the person has to perform. Tone matters here. If your friend is crying, do not say sink or swim. It may sound cold, but if you are describing a demanding first week at work, it fits. I had to sink or swim means nobody had time to train me, so I learned by surviving. The phrase carries pressure, not comfort. On deck, Leah stopped waiting for perfect English. She used short words. Left side, hold the line, say it again, slower please. The visiting scientist answered in the same style. Nobody needed beautiful sentences. They needed useful ones. That is often what fluency really looks like. Weather the storm means survive a difficult period. You do not control the storm. You do not pretend it is pleasant. You keep going until the worst part passes. It works for money problems, family stress, bad news, and long seasons of uncertainty. This phrase feels warmer than just saying, be positive. It respects the difficulty. We just have to weather the storm means this is hard, but it is not the whole story. Leah said it to herself while the boat turned slowly toward calmer water. By late afternoon, the tide changed. Nothing became easy all at once. The waves were still there. The deck was still wet. But the boat moved with the water instead of fighting every inch of it. The scientist looked at the captain and nodded. The hardest part had passed. Turn the tide means change the direction of a situation, especially after you were losing. A new idea can turn the tide in a meeting. One brave apology can turn the tide in a relationship. One useful sentence can turn the tide in a hard conversation. Leah finally helped. She translated the scientist's warning into clear, simple English for the crew, then translated the captain's decision back to the scientist. It was not perfect. It was useful. That is what turned the tide. Not fancy English, clear English. At the right moment. Smooth sailing means easy progress with no major problems. But notice the story feeling. The phrase sounds strongest after difficulty. If everything was easy from the beginning, smooth sailing is just a description. After a storm, it becomes relief. Leah understood that calm feels different when you have earned it. Go with the flow means adapt instead of fighting every change. It does not mean give up. It means notice the direction things are moving, then move wisely with them. In the ocean, fighting the current wastes strength. In English, fighting every mistake does the same thing. Fluency is not zero mistakes. It is staying in the conversation after a mistake. It is asking again without shame. It is choosing a simpler sentence when the perfect one disappears. Leah did not master the sea that day. She learned how to move with it. At dusk, the lighthouse appeared. The harbor looked smaller than it had in the morning. Leah was tired, cold, and very quiet. She had not become a sailor. She had not become a perfect English speaker either. But something important had changed. The sea was still vast, and she was less afraid of it. A safe harbor is a place of protection. Sometimes it is a real place, like the port at the end of a hard day. Sometimes it is a person, a routine, or a sentence you trust. For Leah, the safe harbor was not perfect English. It was the habit of asking, listening, and trying again. A smooth sea never made a skilled sailor. That is the line Leah wrote in her notebook when she got home. Rough water is not proof that you are failing. Sometimes it is the exact place where your English becomes real. That is the real ending of the story. The sea did not get smaller. The accents did not disappear. The pressure did not become cute or easy. Leah simply became steadier inside it. That is what learning English often feels like. The world stays large, but you become harder to knock over. So here is the journey again. Test the waters, get your bearings, look below the surface, notice the undercurrent, take a deep dive. Admit when you are out of your depth, weather the storm, turn the tide. Then, when you can, go with the flow. You can also group the phrases by moment. At the beginning, use test the waters and get your bearings. When things feel unclear, use below the surface, undercurrent, and deep dive. When pressure rises, use out of your depth, keep your head above water, and weather the storm. When the situation changes, use turn the tide, smooth sailing, and go with the flow. If you want to remember these phrases, do not study them as separate islands. Put them back into one day. Morning, test the waters. Confusion, get your bearings. Pressure, keep your head above water. Trouble, weather the storm. Change, turn the tide. Memory loves a route. Give your English a route. If this kind of story helps English stay in your memory, subscribe and come back for the next episode. We will take one real world, one clear story, and the phrases native speakers actually use inside it. See you on shore.